Good morning. It is April 17th, 2026. US President Trump is celebrating a ceasefire in Lebanon as a significant success, openly linking it to potential new negotiations with Iran and suggesting that a major agreement with Tehran could be nearing. However, whether this optimistic outlook is grounded in reality or wishful thinking remains a central question. President Trump appeared upbeat and in high spirits earlier today as he addressed reporters outside the White House. He declared, quote, "Lebanon, that is very exciting. I believe we will get a deal. There will be a meeting, the first in 44 years, and Lebanon and Israel will meet, probably at the White House, in the next 1 to 2 weeks," unquote. The ceasefire for Lebanon marks a notable foreign policy achievement for President Trump. The diplomatic breakthrough followed a request for a ceasefire made on Tuesday by the Lebanese ambassador to the United States to her Israeli counterpart during a meeting at the State Department. Significantly, Iran had made a ceasefire in Lebanon a precondition for its participation in a second round of direct negotiations with the United States. President Trump expressed clear delight at the prospect of potentially hosting a historic meeting between the Israeli Prime Minister and the Lebanese President in Washington. Regarding the ongoing negotiations with Iran, President Trump maintained his optimistic tone. He stated, quote, "We now have a very good relationship with Iran, as hard as that is to believe. I believe that is the interplay of 4 weeks of bombardments and a very effective blockade," unquote. The president's remarks hinted that the next round of negotiations with Iran and Pakistan might be imminent. When questioned, President Trump did not rule out the possibility of traveling to Islamabad himself to personally sign an agreement, emphasizing the critical importance of preventing Iran from acquiring an atomic bomb. President Trump claimed that Iran had, quote, "emphatically agreed to this goal." He added, quote, "They have agreed that they will give us back the atomic dust that lies deep underground because of our attacks with the B-2 bombers. So we have great agreement with Iran," unquote. President Trump frequently uses the term atomic dust to refer to the 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium that Iran possesses. However, President Trump's statements regarding whether he intended to extend the ceasefire with Iran beyond Tuesday were contradictory, ultimately suggesting it might not be necessary. In recent days, President Trump has consistently conveyed a positive mood when discussing the Iran negotiations, a stance that has been gratefully received by financial and energy markets. Yet, it remains unclear whether President Trump's pronouncements are based on concrete developments or are merely an expression of his aspirations. Brett McGurk, who has advised 4 United States presidents on Middle East affairs, offered his perspective to CNN, stating that the recent developments are highly significant. McGurk outlined the broader picture, quote, "The sea blockade is in force, the ceasefire with Iran holds, now we perhaps also have a ceasefire in Lebanon, and so the table should be set for a second round of diplomacy," unquote. He stressed that Iran's highly enriched uranium must be removed from the country, and the fundamental question of enrichment must be resolved. McGurk believes it might now be possible to achieve a preliminary framework agreement on these issues. However, he cautioned that a comprehensive actual agreement would require extensive verification, inspectors, and further complexities, making it highly improbable to complete by Tuesday. McGurk expressed hope for a framework agreement that could be workable, allow for the extension of the ceasefire, and facilitate the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping lane for global energy supplies. What's your take on Trump Hails Lebanon Ceasefire, eyes Iran deal closer? Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.